Guarding America, defending freedom.
I can't believe it. I've been playing 4-on-4 with a barbershop quartet.
Pass the ball, pass the rock. We're open, just pass the ball.
Nah, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on my car insurance with Geico. Yeah.
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Morning face. You get it when you don't sleep well. This is what happened to Linda.
Morning, guys.
Good morning. Ah, what is that thing?
It's me, Linda.
Oh my God, it talks! Run!
No, it's me, Linda from HR.
It looks hungry! Save the children! Save them! Stay back! I've got mace!
Ow, that went in my eye.
Quit moving!
It's called beauty sleep for a reason. And there's never been a better time to get some.
Get 20% off IKEA Sultan mattresses. IKEA. Love.
All right, welcome back to the Balance. 30 minutes of the books. Thank you to Matthew Embury, WSBT up in South Bend, our official IndyCar contributor, breaking down the IndyCar season of 2019. And, of course, the Indy 500. We're about 120 days away from the 2020 Indianapolis 500. So excited. Man, time flies. Time flies when you're having fun. But speaking of having fun, joining us now, Rick Riggin, our official college football contributor, going to help us look back at 2019. I look forward into 2020 as far as the college football goes. Rick, how are you, sir? It feels like it's been a month of Sundays since you've been on the show.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I ain't been on the show in so long, I forgot that I had walk-up music.
It's all saved for you. Hey, here's a recap, and I know you know this, but I am all caught up on, I have started The Mandalorian. I'm a couple episodes in, but I saw the final
How you like that?
Star Wars. Oh, I like it. I do like it.
Now, it's great.
So here's the thing for those that may not have seen it or just started watching. So I'm only like 2 or 3 episodes in, so I hear there's some stuff yet to come. But in The Mandalorian is a Baby Yoda, which is like taking the world by storm. But it's not Baby Yoda, what I've looked on Google. But talking to another friend of mine who is way more obsessed with Star Wars than any one living person should be, said that Lucas said that he never wrote about the Yoda entity. So if you Google Baby Yoda, it talks about the baby, which is 50 years old, by the way, and the baby is, spoiler alert there, but is the love child of Yoda and the girl on the cancel that I can't pronounce. So what is your official take on Baby Yoda? Is it Yoda the baby, because it does kind of take place in that time frame before Yoda died and this and that? It could take place in that time frame, but he's 200 and some odd years old. So I want to subscribe to the Google theory that it's the love child of Yoda.
Yeah, I actually don't know that theory. I didn't know that it could be a Yoda love child. I knew it was the same species as Yoda, but I didn't know it was supposed to be a love child. That's kind of cool.
We were sitting here watching it, and I was just like, what is that? So we Googled it. That's what Google says. So, Google's all knowing. So what are your thoughts? Spoiler alerts, guys. If you've not seen the final Star Wars, well, shame on you. But I have. What are your thoughts? Were all the loose ends put together?
I think the movie itself was good. I thought the ending was lazy writing. So I don't like the ending too much, but I thought the movie itself was pretty good.
I thought it was great, but you know what? I have to admit, I've not been a lifelong. I saw when I was a young lad, 40 some odd years ago. I saw the original. Well, not the original, because now we got to clarify everything. I saw the first release of Star Wars, which was not the first release of Star Wars. That makes me so dizzy. And then I just kind of grew up, and then everybody in the world was watching Star Wars, so I got caught up on it. I did some binging over the last couple months, so I'm not the biggest expert on it, but I thought that the story tied together very, very good. I think cause the whole thing about Anakin, and I honestly feel like that he gave again, we're giving spoilers. If you've not heard it, hold your ears. But I think he gave up on purpose. I think he could have won out if he wanted to. I think that the good in him, and I think that he turned to the good side from the dark side, and the story of Anakin, he ended that story. He could have kept it going. What are your is that where you're thinking? Then it went lazy.
You texted me before you saw it about your theory of Kylo Ren, who was bad, turning good, right? And I didn't want to tell you that you were right, because that's the way how I thought it would be too, because we got The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Skywalker is the name of the movies, the movie titles, right? And he's a Skywalker, and people lose sight of that during the movies. Like, they forget that he's a Skywalker. So I thought this trilogy was really about him, even though it focuses more on Rey, it seemed like. And I thought the way I wanted to end really was I figured Kylo would turn good. He would be Ben Skywalker again, which he was at the end. But Rey would end up being killed off. And Ben would be the one living because he's a Skywalker. But I thought it just went lazy at the end, lazy writing, where he was killed. And Rey gives herself the last name Skywalker. I thought that was cheesy.
Well, I could see why she did it, because she didn't have a last name, or she didn't know what her last name was. And I can
her last name is
see
Palpatine,
why.
so she's a Palpatine, not a Skywalker.
That's another story. It's another dizziness. Oh, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, move forward with The Mandalorian. Real quickly, another movie. You know what? Here's the thing. I had a week and a half off, so I spent a lot of time just binging on a lot of shows. But one of the shows that I had a chance to finally watch, I don't know if you watched it yet, and we'll get into some college football talk after this, but was The Irishman. I thought that was a fantastic movie by Netflix. What are your thoughts? Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard mixed reviews. I know you like it a lot. I've heard other people say it's great, and then I've heard people say it's way overrated. So, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, you know how much I love Clay Travis, but he kind of got on my crap list when he was talking about Jim Harbaugh and the overrating. And we'll get into that conversation here in just a minute about how overrated Jim Harbaugh is at Michigan. And he says that I compare that to how overrated The Irishman was. I'm like, what? Here's the thing with The Irishman. It's long.
I listen to him. I listen to Clay Travis about every day, and I guess I missed that part.
It was like it was after the Alabama game, and it was in that time frame. It was Thursday or Friday.
I listen to him while I'm at work, but I'm in and out of my truck so much. So,
hey, you know what? I'm a big Clay fan, but I don't listen to him live, even though he's live here in the Indianapolis market. I listen to him when I get home at night on the podcast, because all the commercials are cut out, and then I can just hang out in my garage with my dogs and drink my adult beverage and listen to him. So that's when I listen to him. So every time I hear him, I hear the whole show. But yeah, he was talking about him being overrated in The Irishman. But I think that with The Irishman, it was such a good movie. But I think where a lot of people don't like the fact that it was so long, and it's the same people that'll sit through a long Star Wars movie. It's the same people that'll that watched the original Godfather movies, those were long movies. Let's not forget about going way back in the day in the 1920s and 30s. Gone with the Wind was one of the longest movies of all time. So, any which way, we are all caught up now and ready to go. 2019, let's look back real quickly. You probably heard Matthew Embury giving a recap at Notre Dame. We'll start with you on the Notre Dame end, and then we'll kind of go through the 2019 season, college football, what was. But you, big Notre Dame guy, and certainly you came to this show as part of being why you're such a Notre Dame fan and big Notre Dame fan several years ago. So let's get it from your point of view, Notre Dame 2019.
Well, it's just, unfortunately for me, their whole season usually summarized all up on one bad game against Michigan, because after that beatdown, that deflated the whole rest of the season. They just got stuck at ranked 15 or whatever it was, 14, 15, 16 after that, and never moved from there. Even though they won their next 6 games, they never moved from that spot. So you just summarize, break down the entire season, all off that beat down by Michigan. That was their entire season. One bad game, and that's how you rate the Irish this year.
Well, they won against Iowa State, but I think a lot of people think and believe, and maybe I'm one of those people that think that they got shafted for the bowl game that they were in, but at least they were able to end strongly with a good bowl win.
Yeah, kept Iowa State out of the end zone. It's Iowa State. I consider Iowa State a good team. No, I don't think they deserve to play against Notre Dame in the bowl game. Being with a 7-5 record, Notre Dame finishing 10-2. I thought Notre Dame should have played against Florida or somebody like that. But then that argument comes in if they were in a conference and all these bowl tie-ins, all these conferences have had these bowl tie-ins. That's why Virginia got to play Florida instead of Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's a part-time member of the ACC, where Virginia's a full-time member. So all these bowl tie-ins, and that's where the conversation comes in. Does Notre Dame, should they join the conference? I'm starting to lean towards yes for now, but when the playoff does eventually expand to 8 games, I don't know if a conference is going to be needed.
Well, are they going to go to 8 games? I don't know that that's.
Well, the current contract for the 4-game setup goes through 2021. So I think 2022 will probably get the 8-game playoff, and they'll try that out for a while, and it's going to be a huge success because that's what everybody wants. But so for the next 2 years anyway, this next coming season and the season after, we'll still get this 4-game playoff. But after 2021, all bets are off.
Hey, and you know what? That's when it all comes here to Indianapolis for the playoffs. So that's a whole nother story. That's going to be magical, Rick. Magical.
It could be a playoff site. It could be. I don't know how they will break down the playoff games.
Well, hey, real quickly, playing the homer card here. I tell you what, our social media director, Melissa, was over here the other night. We watched the Tennessee IU game. She's a big Tennessee Volunteer fan. Obviously, I'm an IU guy. I literally thought they had it in the bucket. Now I have to agree with all the IU haters. Indiana football does what Indiana football does. They defined the word choke in that game. That was an absolute disaster. And what an embarrassing loss after such a good season to get to a good bowl game. And now you're going to have second thoughts if they get bowl eligible again. Do we send them south or do we keep them up north? We're not going to send them somewhere nice unless they absolutely 100% earn it. And, God, talk with us a little bit about that disappointing loss between IU and the Tennessee Volunteers.
Well, they gave it 2 touchdowns in 30 seconds there at the end, so you can't see that coming. You can't predict that. You can't script that. I'll give IU a pass on that. I guess if you're a Tennessee fan, I mean, are you happy with that win, though, because you had to score 2 touchdowns in 30 seconds to beat IU? So, I don't know. I guess it's not really a program-changing game for either program. I think It's fine. Yeah, IU did choke that game away. Everybody can be mad about it, but they had a hell of a season still. For IU football, that's a great season. So that bowl win would have given 9 wins. That's